We should be live. I'm going to make sure everything is working, and then we can get started. Okay, audio sounds good. Alrighty, let us get this show on the road. OFL Bowl 26. What is going on, Lenny? What is going on, Denmark? I am so scared. I would be too. I don't blame. I don't blame you. So what we've got on tap today, of course, is the big game. The 7th seed in the AFC and the 6th seed in the NFC. And the fun thing about the start of the OFL cycle is that there's probably going to be more parity this year than any year because we haven't really seen many real super teams that have formed. I think we only have two or three teams that are at least like an 88, 89 overall. The Niners being one of them. They're a 90. They're the highest rated team in the game. The Niners have taken the interesting strategy of going all in early. They have a bunch of old players. They don't really have much money to re-sign a few guys. So this might be their best opportunity to win a championship. On the other side, the Armadillos, the 7th seed. Who would have thought they would have gotten here, beating 3 of the 4 AFC division winners, blowing out the top 2 seeds, led by Mac Jones, who's been close to the OFL Bowl in his career, but he finally makes it with an unlikely team who snuck into the playoffs at the end of the year after losing their final game to the Voyagers. And of course, the two coaches here, who would have thought it's Danny and Denmark? Way to take advantage of all the extra parity to put your teams here, and hopefully for these two, rather than it being a one-hit wonder, maybe it's a sign of things to come. What is going on, SG? What is going on, Frank? Candy, Denmark? I cannot put SG in the booth because the game will not let me. I've tried to figure it out in the past, but I don't know how to connect Discord through my console. But I have tried in the past, but I don't know how to get it to work, which is unfortunate. Everyone knows the Niners are playing in the 2 games today, but one is far more important than the other one. Yes. Normally, you'd think the more important game would go second, but that's not the case today. Because it's going first against the Dildos. So for the last time this year, we've got to pick our user. And it lands on 2. The Dildos are listed as the home team. What is good, MP, Nick, C-Mill, how we doing, gentlemen? Award shows will be during halftime, yes. Nickinator has DM me the winners, and I guess the losers. And I'm excited to share. How we doing, Mr. Funny? All right, what jerseys would we like to wear? Why is the other controller being... Oh, there we go. Why is the game like for... Okay, now it's good. Now, there we go. I was just watching Blazers. Why do you sound so tired? You would be correct about that. The last Blazer episode, I edited it at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was exhausted. I had to call a track and field thing during the day that took 6 hours. So yes, I was exhausted. But no days off. I will be rooting for a meteor. What's wrong with the Denmark ring? Red jerseys. Good call. What would we like to... Danny's not even here yet. I know he did approve of this time. but wrong jerseys. Oh. Then which ones do you want? This is like Cardinals Steelers. You weren't born when that game happened, or you might have been like 2. Obviously, you don't care who wins. That game was in like 2009. 2017. Well, those are black. But yes, good catch. Just like old times. The Niners won 3 OFL Bowls in the past, often rocking these jerseys. I know we wore these during our first win in OFL 20 against New England, the Hakeem Butler-Riley Ridley game. So for the dildos, do we want red, do we want mustard, do we want white? I see 1 for white, 1 for red. This is what the red looks like. Wait, do they not have all mustard? Oh, they don't have all white. They don't have white pants. Interesting. Huh. I was 2. I knew ball before the womb. Fair enough. And here's Dingus Pingus, the zinger. He hit it. Yes. I was just grasping for straws at that point. I was up for like probably 18 hours at that point. Wait, that's the wrong controller. Here are the all mustards, by the way, if we would rather that. They wore the mustards, I think, in the AFC Championship, and then the all reds in the other 2 games. I remember Bart Starr's QB sneak at the Ice Bowl. I was there. I don't even know if you were there when Tom Brady came back 28-3. Let alone the Ice Bowl. Changing my vote to mustard. Are we seriously rocking the bananas in the bowl? And that's what everybody wants, because Danny's not here to give otherwise. And then again, here's all red. Not gonna lie, I thought you ghosted me. I didn't mean to. Now everyone wants all red. Okay, let's have a new vote. If you want red, type in red. If you want bananas, type in banana. Oh, and then we can also change the socks around. Do they not have red socks? Are these all the same color? EA, are you kidding me? All right, red, 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 banana, red, banana, banana. That's 5-3. Unless I miscounted, because half of you guys have put it in like 4 times. The red doesn't really match up with the Niners jersey that much since they're wearing black. They used to have so much aura. Well, now the new dildos made the bowl in their first year, so apparently this is the opposite of look good, play good. I think red is winning. It looks like we'll roll with red. The dildos have performed better in red throughout the playoffs than in the bananas, for what it's worth. They have 2 blowouts. I want white, because then we get a gritty game. Well, we've got 2 pretty gritty quarterbacks at the helm, with Trevor Lawrence, who earlier today signed a 6-year extension for $260 million. The Niners believe in him as their long-term guy. And then on the flip side, we've got Matthew McCorkle, Macaroni and Cheese Jones. Both quarterbacks have actually gone up in development rate. Trevor Lawrence now is X Factor. Mac Jones has gone up to superstar, but he's only a 74 overall. He is a 77 with morale, but I think since he's only a base 74 overall, he will not be able to have any superstar abilities today. Shouldn't matter, though, because he hasn't needed his superstar abilities to win any of the other playoff games. So with that, let's not waste any more time. The Danny and Denmark Bowl. OFL Bowl 26 in Las Vegas. Which unlikely coach will win their first ever championship ring? Who would have thought A year ago, you could have made the argument that these are maybe two of, if not the worst coaches in OFL history, respectfully, of course. But things have changed. And I'm also just realizing for the first time that Danny, obviously, last year was the Niners. So he's playing against his old team. A revenge game, I guess, for both sides, as the Armadillos will start with the ball. They'll open things up at the 21, and we will take a look at Mac Jones, who had a busy year, throwing for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, and a lot of interceptions, using that Cowboy playbook, I guess, to his advantage, considering he went up in development trade. The Super Bowl field needs an upgrade. Does it look that bad? They need... Oh, you mean like the field design with the helmets. Oh. I might be the only one who doesn't mind the current look. I think the helmets on the stadium did look cool, but I don't hate the new look that they've kind of phased in over the last, 10, 15 years? But if you can make a good way to put the helmets in, I'm all for it. As Mac Jones starts the game 0 for 2. Denmark is 5 times more Mickey. To be fair to Denmark, though, he did go all in with the purpose of winning a championship early. So I can understand the argument that, oh my, Mac's going to heave it up. Downfield, he's got an open man! And it's dropped. Danny Gray burns James Bradbury. He was wide open. And Mac Jones, I think, underthrew him a little bit. Bradbury makes a good play on the ball. I thought he was housing that. Wow. Anyway, as I was trying to say, the thing with Denmark that isn't entirely Mickey Mouse is that he has built his team to succeed now, and with the lack of cap space and the regression that this team is going to have, they may be in trouble later. But if Trevor Lawrence, who's going to be here, it looks like the whole cycle, plays like he did this year, the Niners are at the bare minimum going to be competitive. Mac Jones didn't go up, but I checked the depth chart, and there was the yellow background under him. The only reason why he didn't show up in the superstar database is that he's not a 75, but he has it, even though he won't have it for this game because, again, he's not high enough. But he has superstar development. Danny or Denmark is going to get a ring before you. Yeah, pretty much. Here's Mixon with the first down of the game. All in, but couldn't let me get his first from 2 years from now. Well, here's the thing, bud. Matt Milano is not worth a projected high first-round pick. High to mid. Because, if Trevor Lawrence plays well. Does Trevor Lawrence not have X Factor? I thought he did. Oh, you know why? The Niners probably already have 3 X Factors on offense. Yeah, Tyreek, Cooper Kupp, and Travis Kelce. So Trevor Lawrence won't have his X Factor activated today, but he has it. He went all in and still needed 2 free wins from me and an insane choke to even get there. That is a good point. But they've also won 3 games in a row. Good run by Trevor Lawrence. But yes, if Seattle was not in full tank mode, there's a really strong chance the Niners don't even make the playoffs to begin with. Who would have thought? That might have brought the Niners a championship if they win today, as Dio Odenbo is in with the sack on first down, bringing down Trevor Lawrence. Playoff Lamar Jackson doesn't count. He also won 2 other games, though. So there's that. Joe Mixon's looking good so far. There's Trayvon Diggs. He won a number of championships last year, won an OFL Bowl MVP, 2 interceptions in the AFC Championship this year against Pittsburgh. As Cooper Kupp is wide open, and he's got it to the 1, a gain of 28. The first passing play from Trevor Lawrence of the entire game, or at least the first throw. I guess the first one would have been the sack. The Niners have gone all in on running the ball early. Here they finally look to go downfield, and Cooper Kupp makes a big play to the 1. And Joe Mixon is in for the score. Pretty good start to the first quarter for the Niners. They get a 3 and out, although they nearly allowed a touchdown on the first drive if Mac Jones can send it an extra yard or 2. And then the offense just runs the ball down their throat. What a drive by Joe Mixon. My prediction is that 4 of the 5 OFL Bowls will be NFC winners. But if the Chargers win the bowl at least twice, then how can that be possible? Because we're not in the NFC. Interesting. There's also a chance the Dildos miss the playoffs if Chubb never went down. That's also a good point. That's kind of the weird thing about this game. With both teams barely sneaking into the playoffs to begin with, if things go differently for Seattle and New York, there's a good chance neither of these teams make it. That just speaks to the amount of parity we have. Any of the teams in the playoff picture could have taken it all the way. Over under 44.5. I think I'm going to lean over. I like these offenses. I like these running backs. Joe Mixon and Josh Jacobs, my children have been unleashed. The second that neither of them are on my team, they make a championship. I don't know how to feel about that. Ravens versus Chargers versus Jets over OFL 24 will be wild. I am excited. It's a damn shame that none of us made it out of the first round this year, but that's going to be a one-year thing. Hopefully, at least in our case. Not so much the other two teams. Blood thinks he's making the OFL Bowl. I do think I will. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I do think I will. Mac Jones up the middle. Nice throw. There's Danny Gray, and now the Buenos Aires offense appears to be in business. If Warren Flowers didn't exist, the Niners don't make the playoffs. Maybe. I mean, the thing is, Arizona might not have an extra win. The Lions and the Dreadnoughts were next. So I think based on how certain things throughout the season went, I think it's more likely the Dildos would have missed than San Francisco, as Grover Stewart is hurt. Thoughts on the Bryce contract? It's a lot of money, but you didn't draft him in the third round to be a one-year rental. And he put up some strong numbers this year, good and bad. Good throw to the 4. He could have existed, it's just that he went to Oklahoma State. If he had been from any other college, Warren Flowers would be in my division right now. Thank goodness he went to Oklahoma State. We let Mac Jones make an OFL Bowl. Yes, we did. We as the AFC collectively did. It's on all of us. T-Law contract. Similarly with Bryce, it's a lot of money, but you didn't draft him for him to be a rental, and he obviously was an MVP candidate this year, led his team to the bowl. Nice throw, and it is caught for a score. And the Armadillos tie it. Danny Gray has been the go-to guy early. He's getting all the targets, and he's consistently getting open. He is continuing to make plays. That was a good route. Mac is the truth in Madden 24 and 4. You could have just taken out the 24. Mac is the truth in Madden, period. Sign Miles Murphy to a 7-year, $3 million a year deal. Stay safe out there. I hate to burst your bubble, but if you count the bonus, it would be $5 million a year, not $3 million. But I guess that's not, in the grand scheme of things, that's not much of the difference. He's so different this year. Well, he was really good last year. This year, he appears to be really good again. Put it this way, he was on my radar if I didn't get a quarterback early. As there's Cooper Kupp to the 38. T-Law better win MVP or else he's robbed. He got to play Seattle twice a year. Let's calm down. Let's be serious, okay? Lawrence, play action. Nice throw. That'll get about 9. The gambling man, Calvin Ridley. All of my guys declined. I noticed a trend with re-signings is that was not just a you thing. Re-signings seem a lot harder this year. Pretty much everybody either had a majority of their players decline if they had multiple big free agents, or they had to overpay. Like the Caps, for example, they brought back all their big guys, McLaurin, Creed Humphrey, Dalton Schultz, but they had to overpay. I feel like the only team who had like at least 4 important players and didn't have to overpay to bring everybody back was the Steelers. Other than that, everybody either did not have a lot of guys to pay or were unlucky. Denzel Ward. Perfect example. Re-signing was obviously harder over there. Denzel Ward says no. Thankfully, that's not an issue this year because I've got him under contract for 3 more years, but... Ooh, he doesn't get it. Mixon is stopped by Jermaine Pratt, And the Niners have a really interesting decision to start the second quarter. They're at the 39. They look like they're going to punt it. I don't hate it. I would rather punt than kick because I don't think they're going to make the kick. I would go for it. You're 1 yard away past the 50. Let's see if their call is different. Nope, they're still going to punt. They might fake, though. Watch the fake. I'm slightly confident they're going to fake it. Okay, it's not a fake. They want to win the field position battle, and that's one way to do it. What a punt. Down at the 1. Now, I will say, if there was any running back I want in this situation, Sean Tucker would be my first choice. But then after that, it probably would be Josh Jacobs. That's not even the 1 yard line. That's like the 3/4 yard line. Danny's going to make another OFL Bowl. I think as teams like the Chargers, Jets progress, Ravens and Riverhawks probably, and others as well, it's going to be a lot harder. But Trayvon Diggs is on that side of the field. If the Dildos consistently make the playoffs, they can win any watch game they're in because of Trayvon Diggs' ability to flip a game that quickly. Along with having Josh Jacobs, who's obviously really good, and Mac Jones has looked strong. Big throw on the wheel route for Luke Musgrave to the 23. That's a great pass by Mac, and now the bad field position, no longer an issue. My guys were all accepted for cheap. Well, I guess you were one of the luckier ones as well. I guess Kevin was the one I kind of noticed because he had like 3 or 4 really good ones since he traded for Jonathan Allen. Tristan Wirfs was in there, and a couple other ones as well. So it was more so that like those two signed for a bunch of money, whereas your guys were cheaper because they're not as good, because you traded away Jonathan Allen. That linebacker is negative IQ. Play the ball, he gets a pick. I hope they both lose. Oh. Okay. How do you feel about my re-signings? Well, I like that you're trying to run it back as much as possible. But obviously your lack of money might be an issue in the future. But right now, you just got to focus on winning. As Jackson Smith and Japa brings it to the 48. The Dildo offense looked rough early, but they are awake. Naruto's salty. He hasn't won a non-simcasted playoff game yet. We do not have to talk about the simcasted game that he did win, though. No, 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 no. None of my guys have interest, and they want money. I feel like the player interest mattered more this year, at least from doing the re-signings today. That stuff matters. Was that Odafe? Why is Odafe Owe in coverage, Denmark? What? What are we doing? Is Odafe Owe a 4-3 outside linebacker here? They do run a 4-3, it looks like. I mean, that would make sense considering they have 2 guys up front. The defensive ends I know are Cameron Hayward and Von Miller. So, yeah. Player interest is rigged. Achan proved that. Well, it seems like you also lowballed Achan a little bit. So I think that's why you said no. 3rd and 11. Max under pressure. Fumble! And the Dildos scoop it up. That could have been bad news. I mean, it is still bad news, but that could have been really bad news. The 49ers beat the Cardinals there in Vince. I didn't know the Cardinals were like the test of invincibility. OA is on Cleveland. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, why would Denmark have someone who's like 23 years old playing? Everybody here has to be 30, other than Trevor Lawrence. This will be a momentum changer. Thanks, Sherlock. And then pummeled the 7th seed Dildo. Wait till we tell him what seed the Cardinals are. Wait till he finds out. Nice move by Nixon. Look at him go, powering through, and former OFL Bowl MVP Kaiser White is hurt. I'm now kind of putting the pieces together that the Dildos have 2 OFL Bowl MVPs on defense with Kaiser White and Trayvon Diggs. Isn't that funny? Everyone in favor of kicking the game, say aye. Aye. Lawrence has had God squads in back-to-back OFLs. This year's God squad is different, though. Like last year's, obviously, that's a super team. This year's on paper for year one, I guess it is kind of like a God squad. But in 2 years from now, I don't know. Mac Jones jumping on the ball, unlike some other quarterback who played college in the state of Alabama who fumbled due to Von Miller. There's Trayvon Diggs with the interception. It was only a matter of time until he made a big play. I will say, though, compared to some of the other interceptions that Diggs has made in the playoffs, that's his fourth. That was one of his lesser impressive ones because I almost called him Mac, because Trevor Lawrence threw the ball right to him. That was an awful pass. But still, if that's somebody else in coverage, that pass might be dropped. Not with Trayvon Diggs, though. And just like that, the Dildos force a turnover. They'll get the ball past the 50. As I said earlier, if you have Trayvon Diggs on your team, you can win any watched game, which is important in the playoffs, which is why I cannot wait for Deron Bland to get superstar development next year. I need my own. Why couldn't I get this Trevor Lawrence? I mean, to be fair, before that throw, he was doing pretty well. Big hole for Jacobs to the 36. This has been a good game so far. He's the next primetime. Shoot, he might be better than primetime. Diggs is the greatest quarterback in OFL history. That might be the first thing you've ever said that I agree with. Luke Musgrave to the 17. Mac has completed 6 of his last 8. This bowl had something to do with me. You had the tree, Von Miller, Trayvon Diggs, and Trevor Lawrence. I guess you must have that winning DNA. Although I guess my winning DNA is carried over to the running backs. And nobody else, but still, I got the 2 running backs. This pass reminds me of when Joe Burrow threw the ball directly at J.C. Horn. That last OFL Bowl last year was the funniest game ever. That was some of the worst offense I've ever seen in my life. At least today, both offenses have been pretty solid, despite the lack of points. Mac, nice throw, good catch. Danny Gray's having himself a day. He was really good in the wild card round. Kind of quieter in the last 2, but he's back. 4 catches for 58 yards here in the first half for Danny Gray. Now at the 4, incomplete. I think he was looking for... No, that's not Gray. That's Josh Downs. It wasn't the worst. What, last year's game? That was the worst offense I've ever seen. Oh, what a catch! Danny Gray does it again. His second receiving touchdown of the first half. An unbelievable grab in the end zone. Who would have thought that Danny Gray's the guy making all these plays? 5 catches for 2 touchdowns in the first half, and he nearly had another one at the beginning of the game had Mac not had a noodle for an arm. And that's not an easy catch. He was kind of slipping there, but he's able to come down with it. 26 years old, 71 overall, normal development. Look at him. Making plays. How can you be named Danny Gray and not be white? That's a great question. He's on the Niners in real life, too, of all the white guys. So you'd think... Is Danny Gray's contract up this year? I don't think so, because I think if it was, Danny would have paid him. Danny Gray is the black Arturo Modelo. I can see it. There's some similarities between the two of them. Big drive for the Niners now. They've got to respond. They do get the ball to start the second half, so they can put themselves in a good spot based on how this drive goes, as Tyreek Hill gets it to the 31. The one good thing about Trayvon Diggs, if you're the offense, compared to last year, is that Diggs can't get in the zone. He still has all the interception superstar abilities, which is still a very big deal, but he can't get in the zone. Danny Gray versus white Danny Gray, Cooper Kupp. There's Cordero Patterson to the 50. He's still in bounds. Niners still have 2 timeouts in their back pocket. Pay that man when his contract is up. Give him a blank check and let him write in whatever number he wants. Lawrence, downfield, what a catch! Cordero Patterson to the 13. Okay, I get if it's like Travis Kelce who's big mossing somebody, but Cordero Patterson, really? Why are we letting CP do this? Clock is ticking. There's 6 seconds left. They got to run this play quick. And Lawrence throws in the back of the end zone. I think they're going to take the points. Can't wait to watch the red zone play calling creativity between Kyle and Andy tonight. That should be interesting. I'm curious to see if Kyle Shanahan finally gets over the hump because he hasn't been able to. He's had so many chances. It hasn't happened yet. Well, did 76 just fall on his butt? He was flopping. Are we sure that Cordero Patterson is the real CP? Because that guy looked more like CP. He won't. He won't get over the hump? To that, I agree. I picked the Chiefs to win. I think they're going to get Mahomes number 3. Cordero and Danny Gray dominating the game. Who would have thought? All right, as we go into halftime, let's go over our rewards for the regular season. We're going to start things off with the Rookie of the Years. On the offensive side of the ball. I don't know how many points these guys got, so I don't know how close the races were. But in order, first place, number 44, I'm pleased, Sean Tucker. In second place, Quentin Johnston. And then in third, Bryce Young. On the defensive side of the ball, first place, Owen Popo. No, I'm kidding. Drew Sanders is first place, obviously. Second place is Owen Popo. Third place is Ivan Pace. Coach of the Year. First place is Todd. Second place is MMGK. Third place is Kevin. Meme of the Year. First place is the Tankathon between the Seahawks and the Raiders. Second place, the Denzel Ward trade saga. You're welcome. Third place, Greg Dortch and Sean Tucker. Really all of our meme players being insane. Owen Popo, I guess, too, because he was second for Defensive Rookie of the Year and went up in Dev. But mainly Greg Dortch and Sean Tucker being the 2 best players at their positions. Let's get to the big ones. Offensive Player of the Year. Have to imagine the vote was pretty close between Sean Tucker and Greg Dortch, but ultimately the winner, I am pleased to say, is Sean Tucker. Second place is Greg Dortch. Third is Christian McCaffrey. Defensive Player of the Year. This was the most interesting one to me because I think there was an argument for all 6 players on the ballot. First place, Micah Parsons. Second place, Drew Sanders. Third place, A.J. Terrell. And now to the big one, the MVP. We had a number of guys obviously not crack the top 3. Sean Tucker misses out. Christian McCaffrey misses out. There might have been another quarterback on the list who I'm blanking on, but they miss out. Our top 3, in no order, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. In third place, Lamar Jackson, who I voted in first, by the way. Second place, Trevor Lawrence, which means our first OFL 24 MVP winner is Josh Allen of the Carolina Panthers. And now on to the second half. 14-10, Dildos with the lead. Niners start the ball, though. Joe Mixon continuing to play really well. Human polar bear. This is rigged. Allen's a playoff choker, and Lamar isn't? 2-time Coach of the Year, 0-time conference champion. I'm the GOAT. You may not be able to get to the ball, but at least you have the respect of your peers. For record, none of these were close except for Defensive Player of the Year. Okay. I'm a little bit surprised about Offensive Player of the Year. I think there's a real argument for Greg Dortch. But again, I'm not complaining. I'll take my win. Second and 6. Good catch. Joe Mixon, that's Mixon, right? Yes, it is. Joe Mixon's having himself a day. If the Niners do come back and win, he very well could be in play for OFL Bowl MVP. And then on the other side, so far it has to be Danny Gray, right? Box score watching. They don't know they played the tanking Seahawks twice a year. You also got to play the tanking Seahawks once a year. And again, I voted Lamar first place. I'm on your side here. Trevor Lawrence, you just missed out on the MVP. How will you respond? Have you watched the Relocation Football League on YouTube? No, but I watched the Octagonal Football League on YouTube. Shameless plug. Not that there's anything to plug here, because all of you are plugged in. 3rd and 2. Lawrence up the middle for an open man. It's Cooper Kupp to the 14. Has Tyreek Hill gotten the ball once today? Kupp's had a good game. Kelsey hasn't really done anything either. It's really been the Cooper Kupp and Joe Mixon show. Week 1 Seahawks. What an experience that was. And I thought that was a sign of things to come. And, well, not quite. Tyreek has like 3 catches. Okay, then I guess I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game. Armadillos have interception merchant Trayvon Diggs. Is interception merchant supposed to be an insult? Because I don't know about you, but I would love to have 11 interception merchants on my defense. You mean the Cordero Patterson, Danny... Well, I didn't say Danny Gray because he's on the other team. But I guess Cordero Patterson's made a bigger play than either Hill or Kelsey have. 3rd and 5, wide open! It's Joe Mixon for the touchdown. And the Niners take advantage of their 2-for-1. They get 10 points out of it, and they'll take the lead. Do the Seahawks play the Raiders next year? That's a good question. Could not tell you. Joe Mixon is the best running back of all time. The funny part about that is, at least in like the last 3 cycles of OFL, you can make the argument that that's true. All time, no. Nobody's touching Todd Gurley. I'm sorry. But, I mean, I guess Todd Gurley only really had 1 year. Joe Mixon's been around the entire time. They do, yes! You guys both have to, like, tank for that 1 game. You can try to win every other game, but for that game, you guys have to start your backups. Please. That would be gold. Jeremy Ruckert hauls it in. Please let that be a week 1 game. Oh, my God. I miss Todd Gurley, don't we all? OFL 20 Todd Gurley was one of the scariest offensive players the league, I think, has ever seen. Certainly the scariest in the last, like, compared to the last 3 years. No one comes close to Todd Gurley. I'm sorry. Nick Chubb carried Nick's entire resume. His defense allowed 0 points in his first OFL Bowl win. What are we doing here? I know that would be on paper Calhoun versus Flowers, but we need the backups. I want one more Michael Thomas versus Tajay Sharp game for good times. OFL 22 Dan versus OFL 20 Todd Gurley. I'm picking Todd Gurley. I'm sorry. Watch game, Todd Gurley consistently had 275-plus yard runs a game. That dude was a menace. Frank, when a team starts to lose their best player and the engine of their offense gets hurt, incomplete. JSN the intended target. This is a giant drive. Though those offenses look good throughout the duration of the game, but now that the Niners offense is caught all the way back up, they need to respond. And they need to be targeting Danny Gray. Why is he not getting looks? Max under pressure. He's sacked by Cameron Hayward for a loss of 8 when 24 Sean Tucker outplays 20 Gurley. If anybody can catch Todd Gurley, I think Sean Tucker's the guy to do it. But that's still going to take a lot because Todd Gurley was ridiculous. 3rd and 18, incomplete. Good pressure by the Niners. That's Von Miller in the backfield. Mac Jones is a Josh Jacobs. No, he's a Danny Gray merchant. Najee Harris is the exact build of Todd Gurley. That doesn't mean Najee Harris is as good as Todd Gurley. I will say Najee's the greatest receiving back our league has ever seen. Which is, that's something. That's something, I guess. Am I wrong? Yes, you are very wrong. He is not worse than Jaren Hall. Not even close. Can OFL 24 have 7 seasons instead of 5 or 6? It's February. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. Najee Harris is Kmart Todd Gurley. That's disrespectful to Kmart. 2nd and 4. Good throw. Travis Kelce comes down with it. 3rd quarter's been all about San Francisco. They've really started to slowly take control of this game. Tyreek Hill now. My T-Law contract is on the line. Trevor Lawrence knows he already has gotten paid. He doesn't need to show up today, and everything's fine. Win or lose, he'll be taking a nice vacation to Cabo no matter what. I guess if he loses, though, he's going to Cancun. Here's Mixon to the 44. He's nearing the 100 yards mark. Final play of the third. They won't get it off in time. Great quarter for the Niners. They only lead by 3, though. It's still anyone's game, but right now San Francisco appears to have the edge going into the fourth. If I remember correctly, I almost traded for Najee Harris before trading for JT in 23. Interesting. I mean, I guess it worked out for you, but I'm curious to see what Najee would have looked like in that offense. I would have loved to have seen Najee in the Browns offense in OFL 22 with how often they threw the running back. If Denmark loses, he's getting fired off the Hall of Fame committee. That should mean you should be in, like, the Hall of Fame committee's jail. Denmark made the bowl. You won, like, 7 games. Can the game slow down? I don't know. These offenses have been able to keep it moving. We still got 8 minutes, though. But this has been a great game. 3rd and 7. Big throw. Kupp is wide open to the 14. I don't know about you, but I feel like the Dildos could use one of those Trayvon Diggs plays right about now. I won 7 games of the literal 74 overall roster. Yeah, and Denmark made the OFL Bowl. So... 2nd and 6. Mixon, wide open room. He's in for the score. And San Francisco leads by 10. Everything about the second half has gone the Niners' way. And there's still time. There's still 7 minutes. Game's far from over. But the Armadillos need to strike fast. I remember when you guys put Alpo and Roberto into the Hall of Fame while trying to discredit my rings as Mickey Mouse. Yeah, I do find that interesting. I support Octu's range. Well, Denmark calls him Mickey Mouse all the time. So, Denmark is really 7 minutes away from getting a range. This is not the game I love. If Denmark was like an 84 overall, I get it. But they are the highest rated team in the game. So... should we have the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for each postseason, or just 1 vote for each award? I guess because it's only a few games, we probably should just do 1 vote. Or 1 vote. If I win, I won't call them Mickey Mouse. What is that? Where's the correlation? Third and 8. This is the biggest play of the game so far. Mack's going to go downfield. It's caught! Jackson, Smith, and Jigba to the 40. JSN was wide open, too. That ball was a little bit more precise. He could have gone a little farther, I'm just saying. Because I feel bad. I realize that I'm wrong, and every wing has its competitors. I respect the growth mindset. There's Josh Jacobs to the 30. I was confused. Who on this team had X Factor? But then I realized it was Jacobs. They have not looked at Danny Gray at all in the second half. That's a travesty. Get the ball into the hands of number 6. I've been in FGFL. Those rings are not Mickey Mouse. Yes, you can't forget about the FGFL ring I have. I can fill my whole hand with championships. And we are off. The Super Bowl is kicked off. The Chiefs get the ball first. And Mahomes is intercepted by Brian Branch. He'll take it the distance on the first play of the game. If only. Down to 4 minutes. The Dildos are doing their job here on offense. 2nd and 5. He's in. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. What a drive from him. Puts Buenos Aires within 3. I will say, though, with 4 minutes left, the Niners are in position to chew some clock, and they have ran the ball so well today. Joe Mixon has been awesome, but if the Dildos can get that stop, even if the Niners end up with a field goal, if the Dildos can have some time with the ball, they can absolutely win it. Why did I say Buenos Aires so white? How else do you say it? Buenos Aires? Buenos Aires flows off the tongue better. I'm sticking with that. The Dildos have to lose now. What was that celebrating? Kadarius Toney drops the ball in the Branch's hands. It can't. The script can't happen twice, can it? It's more like Kadarius Toney gives the ball to Brian Branch. Here you go. I don't care if Danny's in SG's tree. I see Danny as my son. We're all rooting for the Dildos to get a stop here, right? Other than, obviously, Denmark. Well, that's not a good start for that, hope. Tyreek Hill to the 42. Buenos Aires. Oh, I don't know that's how you said it. I have to keep the shtick, though. I have to say Buenos Aires. There's Mixon again. Trayvon Diggs brings him down. Dildos are not going to call their timeouts yet. But I imagine the Niners are going to let this clock go as much as they can. There it is, down at 10. Second and 7, back to Mixon. Bounces off a blocker. Gets the first. Wow, that's big. What a play. Joe Mixon's the MVP of this game if they win. He scored all 3 of their touchdowns. He's been so consistently dominant on the ground the entire way. If they hold on here in these final 2 minutes, he's the OFL Bowl MVP. He has to be. If they give it to Trevor Lawrence, I swear to God. Trevor Lawrence should do his OFL 23, 360 no-scope pick. I do have to give Trevor Lawrence credit. This is now 4 straight watched playoff games where he's played well. Actually 3.5 because he got hurt against Atlanta. And then the team nearly choked it. As Albert Okuebanum is hurt, the Niners have to call a timeout. So the clock is stopped and the Dildos still have all 3. Do the Niners ever look to throw it by chance? Not here. They give it to Cordero Patterson. He runs right into Joey Porter Jr. And now it's a 3rd and 10. The Niners are not in field goal range yet for what it's worth. I think they're probably going to look to throw it. And they do. Lawrence under pressure. He does the 360 and it's incomplete. SG just spoken into existence. Chuck Clark with the deflection. And the Dildos are going to have 2 timeouts in 100 seconds. Only down by 3. I did not think they were going to get that stop on 3rd down with how consistent the passing game has been in the second half. And that's not even a good punt. What a shank at the 28. So realistically, the Dildos are only going to need 35 yards to get in field goal range. 72 for a touchdown. They have 143 and 2 timeouts. Absolutely enough time. Can Mac Jones do it? Save us, Mac Jones. Save us, please. There's Musgrave to the 34. Luke Musgrave's quietly had a pretty productive game, especially in the first half. Mac Jones, if you can hear us, Mac Jones. Save us, Mac Jones. Up the middle. Nice catch. Josh Downs to the 40. They've got to keep it moving, though. Tick, tick, tick. 1:10 left. Mac's going to look downfield. He's got his man. It's Musgrave to the 34. Speak of the devil. Right as I'm piping him up, he makes the biggest catch probably of the game. Still with 2 timeouts. Play action. Jones wants it all. Incomplete. Looking for JSN. They're down to 37 seconds, still in field goal range. Can't turn it over, though. Mac's going to look short for downs. They should call time. And they're not going to. Okay, they still have 2. 3rd and 6. There's 15 seconds left. Let's move it. Mac throws it away. That might be a late hit. Which might honestly not be that big of an impact. Because the Dildos are probably going to end up with a field goal anyway. But now the Dildos are going to have a couple chances at the end zone. Grover Stewart with the sack. Are they going to run the ball? Do not run the ball. Please, God. Go for it. That's weak. Josh Jacobs. They should kick. Yeah. 7 seconds left. Just don't do anything stupid. Take the points. I don't know why they ran it, though. Danny Gray, I don't think has been targeted once in the second half. Use him! But yeah, with 7 seconds left, I don't think I would risk it, especially knowing no matter what, you're going to get the ball in overtime. I feel like they could have taken more advantage of that penalty, though. Fake it and go for the win. Oh, Lord. So the kick is good for the tie. Matt Gay ties it at 24. When's the last time we've had an OFL Bowl go into overtime? Obviously, my first one went into overtime. Did the Ram-Raven game go into overtime in OFL 22? Was that overtime or was that just right at the end? Good kick return by Patterson, but he's not going to get it there. That would have been nuts. Imagine if they faked it. If they faked it and got it, that would have been the funniest thing ever. Ravens, Rams it is. Okay, so we're into overtime. Tails never fail, San Francisco. Haha, gotcha. Lands on heads. The Dildos are going to start with the ball. Even though both teams are going to get the ball, the correct call in overtime of the playoffs is still to receive. Because if both teams do the same thing on their opening 2 drives, then it's basically like regular overtime. The Voyagers are from Louisville, yes. Game crashes and neither team wins. Imagine if the Dildos elected to defer. Well, that'd be stupid. Good kick return coverage, starting at only the 18. I was just about to wank my pecker, and I randomly thought of Cavs legend Channing Frye. Okay, well, I don't know if we needed the whole part. We didn't need to hear about Channing Frye. Ooh, JSN's hurt. He's had a big game today. Not going to the locker room, dapping up Danny Gray, who should be getting some more touches. Dildos, what are we doing? Feed number 6. 2nd and 4. Mac Jones has Musgrave, who was money on that last drive. He gets the first down. If the Dildos do win the game, who wins the OFL Bowl MVP? I guess it would be based on what happens on this drive, or if Trayvon Diggs does something else cool. Jones under pressure. On the run. Incomplete. He had about 10 seconds to throw it, but excellent coverage the entire play. So we don't remember Channing Frye? Of course we do. Him and his bald head. 2nd and 10, not much for Jacobs. Now 3rd and 9. Uh-oh. Big play for the Armadillos. If the Niners get a stop, that would be gigantic. Mack with a clean pocket. Throws it away. San Francisco gets the stop. And now it's next score wins. Tails, in fact, did not fail, I guess, on the kickoff. Good punt, though. Really good punt. Nice juke. Good return out to the 26. So all the Niners need is 3. They got to feed Joe Mixon as much as possible. And probably not throw it to Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon, if you can hear us, please save us, Trayvon Diggs. Good gain for Mixon. He gets 7. Looks like Trayvon's going to be towards the bottom. It looks like he's covering... Why is he covering Calvin Ridley? All right, you do UEA. Mixon to the outside. First down. Spins away from Diggs. He gets 12, and now Baron Browning's hurt. Things are starting to unravel for Buenos Aires. Trevor Lawrence fumbles. It's picked up by Diggs. No one in front of him. Touchdown. The Niners are probably around 20 yards away from field goal range. It's a read option. Is this script actually going to happen? No, he doesn't fumble it. He gets 4, though. Good tackle. I think that's Joey Porter. No, that's Justin Reed, who was just extended earlier today. 2nd and 6. Lawrence short for Mixon. Gets 3. And that'll bring us to a gigantic 3rd and 3 from the 48. If the Niners get a first down, they are sitting pretty. I would give it to Joe, personally. There will be a pass. It's a screen! And he doesn't get it! Chuck Clark with the game-saving tackle. What do you do on 4th and 1? Do you go for it or do you punt it and try to pin him back? They're going to punt it. I would go for it. A first down, basically, it doesn't necessarily win you the game, but boy, it puts you in a good spot. I don't like that call. Bad punt as well. Shanks it to the 23. Mac Jones. Mac, if you can hear us, please save us, Mac. So both defenses get stops, and now it goes to the Armadillos. What an instant classic we have been treated to. This game has been awesome. Oh, I thought that was intercepted. Oh my God, my heart dropped. Octi and his Dan Campbell logic. Dan Campbell, there's like a stat where it's like how many wins your in-game coaching decisions gave you, and the Lions were in first place this year. Mac only gets 2 with Jacobs, 3rd and 8 now. All the Dildos need is a field goal. If they can just get that one first down, trying to get some momentum. If you go for it and miss, the game is basically lost. That's true, but you only need 1 yard. Joe Mixon's going to get you 1 yard. Is he in bounds? He is! Danny Gray does it again to the 46. This guy is an animal. How did he keep both feet in? Yeah, it looks like from that angle he's in. 1, 2. Ooh, that was close. I think he got it. Danny Gray is unbelievable. No review. First down stance. Oh my goodness. David Tyree, Mario Manningham, Riley Ridley, Hakeem Butler, Danny Gray. I got to give Max some credit. I thought in real time that was not a good throw, but obviously it was perfect. 2nd and 6, not in field goal range yet, but who needs a field goal? Danny Gray walks it off, and the Armadillos have won the OFL Bowl in overtime. Who was covering Danny Gray? Who would have thought of all the people in this game to constantly step up? It's Danny Gray. 7 catches, 3 touchdowns. Oh my Lord. Do we need a vote for the OFL Bowl MVP? I don't think we do. And who covered him? Who covered him is right. Because he got cooked. Danny Gray wins it for Danny. Who would have thought this time a year ago, Danny was looked at as maybe the worst coach in the league, if not one of, respectfully. And now he wins a championship in overtime over Denmark in an absolute classic. Without a doubt, one of the best OFL Bowls we've had. Michael McCorkle Mac Jones is a champion. As a 7th seed, winning 4 games as underdogs in all of them. Wow, that was awesome. Got to give a ton of credit for Denmark to bringing his team all the way here. He wanted to go all in on year 1, and he almost had it. He was right there. But it's the Buenos Aires Armadillos who get the job done. Boostive dev for this game. If everyone agrees, I will 1,000% boost Danny Gray's dev. 1,000%. I will do it. Wow. That was incredible. What a game. I don't agree. I said everyone has to agree. Nick doesn't agree. Make him superstar. I want to put him superstar. I feel like that might be too far, though. I don't know. All right, let's look at the numbers. Obviously, Danny Gray we're giving all the credit to, but Mac Jones was brilliant. He wasn't perfect, but 4 touchdowns, 343 yards. He did his job. The game's going to give him the OFL Bowl MVP. I don't agree. I think it should be Danny Gray, but Mac Jones deserves a ton of credit. Trevor Lawrence was good. 83% completion percentage. The guy was efficient. And he didn't lose him the game. That interception was really bad, but it was also early. On the ground, Joe Mixon was outstanding. He would have been my easy pick for the MVP had the Niners won the game. Josh Jacobs was solid. Cooper Kupp was solid. Danny Gray, though, 7 for 132 and 3. Danny Gray was great in the first half. Did not catch a ball in the entire second half, but then in overtime, the big 3rd down catch and obviously the touchdown at the end. Danny is a Mac Jones merchant, but it means the league is not in the Plummer era. He's not even a Mac Jones merchant. He's closer to being a Danny Gray merchant. Danny Gray was a sim pick, by the way. Hakeem Butler, Riley Ridley, and Danny Gray have made maybe the 3 most impressive, iconic OFL Bowl catches ever, and they were all sim picks. Wild. Trayvon Diggs with the interception. He had 4 in the playoffs. Von Miller with the strip sack could have been a big play. Got to give credit to both kickers. Matt Gay with a big field goal at the end. Brad Robbins, though, he had the punt to the 1, but then his last 2 punts were terrible. Okay, I guess Calvin Mentor's up there too, you're right. But still, some of the most iconic plays ever have been by Sim Picks, and Danny Gray's added to the list. It's probably going to go to Trayvon Diggs. I think if it was a pick 6, it would have. But since Mac Jones and Danny Gray were so good, I don't think it will. It seems like we're all in agreement that moving him to star dev is fair. We'll do it. I personally would want to move him up to superstar because he's only 24. Never mind then. Yeah, we can do star. This was not a one-game wonder, though, for Danny Gray. He was consistently pretty solid throughout the playoffs. He wasn't this good. But he's had some strong... Actually, he really wasn't all that good. I guess he was in the Voyager game, but he had 3 catches in the last 2 weeks. Okay. Still, I'd be excited about Danny Gray going forward, especially now that he is a dev. One new injury. Who got hurt? Was this JSN? Oh, it's Kaiser White. Kaiser White is another ring. Trayvon Diggs is another ring. Trayvon is 3. All right, let's end the week. Let's see who they give it to. I think they're going to give it to Mac. Maybe I don't need a wide receiver. No. Do not replace Danny Gray. We want Danny. We want Danny. They give it to Mac. Boo. Ernest Jones, Depoy. There's a polar bear on the screen, guys. What are... Raiders merchant much. But yeah, I guess the rest looks fine. Can we see retirements? Yes, let's look at the weekly awards first. They're going to go with Mixon, Mack, Von Miller, Trayvon Diggs, as expected. Did Ernest Jones move up? I think he only had normal, so that's probably why he didn't show up in the Superstar database. But obviously, he'll have at least star. I remember I was surprised when he originally had normal when you drafted him. Oh, he went up twice. Okay, he is Superstar now. All because of one game. He goes up in dev twice. That's crazy. Drew Sanders probably should have X Factor now. Let's check on that. Will he be an 85 yet? Will he have gotten his XP? No, he only goes up to Superstar. That's... Okay, clearly they haven't given him his XP yet. Yeah, only Superstar. What about Gibby? I don't think... Gibby was not efficient. How is Ernest not X? Because he started at normal. It's pretty much impossible to go up 3 devs in 1 year. Yeah, Gibby only has star. You got to play well to move up. Drew Sanders, though, I don't have an explanation for. That's wild. Here are the retirements. How many of the Niners are going to be in here? Harrison Smith, Aaron Rodgers. Titans need a new quarterback. Jason Kelsey. That's 2 of their day 1 picks. Gone. Calais Campbell. Mike Glennon. Wow, the Lions had 6. Demario Davis, Levante David. Oh, here come the Niners. Only 2. Cordero Patterson and Trent Williams. No Von Miller, though. Von Miller's not under contract. Jason Peters, no! Wacko for Flacco, no! Adam Thielen, and that's about it. Okay, so a handful of interesting ones. Did Minkin win an award? I don't think so. He should have, but Ernest Jones exists. I thought if you were top 5 in a stat, you went up. I don't know what the exact formula is. Maybe it's not touchdowns. Maybe it might be yards. Because I think he was second in touchdowns. Behind 44. Yup. But in terms of yards, he was probably like in the middle. Yeah, he was lower than a quarterback. All right. So now that the first season is in the books, I want to thank everybody for a great season 1. This first season's been a blast with a unlikely but very fun champion, an incredible championship game. That was sick. And then the offseason is going to be kicking right off very soon. Re-signings are going to be opened up for Stage 2 within the next 24 hours. After that, there will be a roster video. All of your overall rating questions will be answered there. I'm probably going to have the second set of re-signings due like Thursday or something. I'd love to get through the offseason fairly quickly. So I think we're going to be looking at Thursday, although that is subject to change. So hope everybody enjoyed. And keep your eyes and ears open for off-season related announcements.